Here we go. Oh, a bite. There we go. There she goes. Oh. Yes. All right. Back to the river today. I'm excited to get back out here. The weather I feel like is perfect. We got overcast skies, a little bit of a slight drizzle, just get some splash on the water. And I feel like the fish should be chewing. So I got a couple of goals in mind today. The first one is I want to catch at least one nice hen that I can take home and harvest for the roe that I can use for bait later on. And then the second one is to try and catch a steelhead on a piece of hardware. So some kind of lure. I've never, now that I think about it, I don't think I've ever caught a steelhead on hardware. So those are the two goals for today. We'll see what happens. But first things first, we're gonna start casting and see if there's any fish in there. All right, let's get in here. I'm gonna start with a casting close. First cast. Be nice if they hit on the first cast, but it never really seems to work out that way. But anyways, like I said, two goals today, and honestly I could probably knock both out with one stone if I just start casting lures right away this morning. Maybe I get lucky with a nice hen, but I kind of want to catch one just on the methods that I've used before, just to build up some confidence first. So I'm just casting in a bead here to start, a little bit more confident with the bead setup. So hopefully we can knock one out with this way, and then after that, then we can start, you know, throwing the hardware, trying some new stuff. I don't know if that was a bite or not. Bob her down there. Did pull my bead down. Very suspicious. Nice little morning out here. Excited to see what the day brings. Just a day trip this time around. I know I've done a couple of longer videos where multi-day trips, but today just a one-day trip. So we'll see if we can make it happen. There we go. There's a fish. There's a fish. Little guy. Little one. Like a trout almost. We'll just make this one quick. We're not going to keep this one. I think that might be a little male. Looks like it's starting to get a little hook jaw. It's still kind of small, so sometimes tough to tell with these little guys, but got a little scar there. Probably escaped a bird. That's what it looks like, at least. But yeah, I think that's still technically considered a trout. I think they have to be, I forget, 18 inches or so to graduate into steelhead territory. But yeah, nice fish nonetheless. First fish of the day. And anytime you can get a fish to the bank, it's a win. So anyways, we'll get this one on its way and get back in there. All right, off you go. Thanks for playing. I know that was just a little guy, but definitely a good start to the day. If you watched my last steelhead video, oh man, I was having a tough time keeping the fish pinned. Sometimes that's just how it goes with these barbless hooks. You get a string of bad luck and, you know, you lose a few fish in a row. Sometimes it can take a hit to your confidence level, which is why I wanted to come back out here and get some fish on the bank or to the hand, whatever you want to call it. And I know that was just a little guy, but that definitely boosts the confidence. So welcome sight for sure. And that one hit all the way on the other side of the bank. So definitely worked this area pretty well. Probably been casting for, I don't know, 10 minutes or so. And keeping my hopes high for another fish or two this morning. My plan is to fish the morning. I didn't get breakfast, so I'm planning to take a break in the middle of the day, go get a bite to eat for lunch. Sometimes those plans don't always come through. Sometimes I end up fishing all day, but that's the plan at least. Fish this morning, take a break to get a bite to eat for lunch, and then come back in the afternoon and fish you know, until it gets dark. So we'll see how the day goes, but definitely a good start. Oh, that looked like a bite. That might have been a fish. Let's go back through there. Thought with that first fish, the bite was going to be good, but that's really the only action we've had. I had a couple bobber downs that look suspicious, but I haven't hooked any other fish. So those could have been fish, or they could have not been, who knows. It's about 11 o'clock. I know it's a little early for lunchtime, but I might have to take a little bit of an early break for lunch today. Let this rain pass. I don't mind the rain for fishing, but it does make filming a little bit more challenging. Go get a hot bowl of soup, reset, and then come back and be ready for the afternoon session. So we got lunch, got my bowl of soup, heated myself up, was thinking that this rain was gonna calm down, but honestly I think I messed up. I looked at the weather report yesterday and it was supposed to sprinkle like a little. I feel like there was like a 40% chance of rain from like noon to 2 o'clock or something, and then the rest of the day was just gonna be cloudy, no rain at all. But I just looked at the weather report again for today, and it's rain. It's not just raining, it's pouring for the whole day. It's like 100%. I think it drops to like 80% at like 5 p.m., which is when the sun's gonna set. So at this point, it's tough enough to just get motivation to go out there and fish. I drove along the river a little bit. Didn't see a single other person. Oh no, I saw one other person fishing. Props to that guy for sticking it out there. But yeah, it's tough to gather enough motivation to get out there. So I think our new goal for today is just to catch one more fish. Hopefully it's a nice fish. The first one was a little bit small, not gonna lie. Keep staring out the window, thinking this rain's gonna lighten up. I'm gonna get that sign to go, but I don't think that's gonna happen today. I think we're just gonna make it happen with the way it is. It's gonna be pouring the whole time. I'm gonna be wet, cold, but if I catch fish, I'll be happy. Man, definitely not the weather we had this morning. This morning it was actually really nice compared to this, but as I was putting my waders on, getting ready to come down here, it reminded me of my younger years. Played a lot of baseball as a kid, growing up through high school. And I had this one coach in high school that used to tell us, these are the days that separate us from the other teams, the teams who basically don't have the, what do you call it, commitment or perseverance, whatever you want to call it, to practice into these adverse conditions. You know, baseball's not exactly a bad weather sport. As far as games go, you know, all the games get canceled when it's raining like this. And practices, probably a lot of teams didn't practice when it was like this, but we did. And he used to tell us that was what separated us from the other teams. Because you think about it, you only have a finite number of days, hours, you know, especially in high school. You only have a certain amount of time to practice and to get better. And I was thinking kind of the same thing goes for fishing, you know. Same thing, you know, let's say you start fishing when you're 10 years old and you probably fish all the way till you're 70 maybe, realistically. You know, obviously if I could fish longer, that'd be great, but realistically that's at a max 60 fishing seasons. And I've already gone through basically a third of that. And yeah, life doesn't go on forever. So sometimes you got to make it happen with what you got, like I was saying earlier. And we don't have the conditions today, but we do have the time. Lines are in. Now, I can already tell this rain's starting to put some color on the water. Even just from this morning, I can tell it's a little bit more murky now, which might help things. Usually you don't want to fish a rising river, but you know, on occasion it can prove fruitful. And we'll find out today. I do still have some good confidence in this area. I know there's some fish around. Just Gotta figure out what they want. I need to trick one or two of them to bite. And then I need to convert on that bite. That's gonna be the key. I don't think I'm gonna have a lot of chances, so I gotta make sure I'm ready at any moment to make it count. Make every drift count. It's gonna be my motto for the rest of the day. Oh. Fish right there. Just gotta figure out what they want to eat. Shoot, might even need to throw some hardware. Never caught one on a artificial. Well, I never caught one on metal before. But yeah, if this doesn't work, maybe we'll try it anyways. There we go. There's a fish. Oh man, just spit the hook just like that. Dang, that felt like a good one too. Dang. Strike one. I think what happened on that one is I just got a little bit too greedy with my drift. I let it go a little bit too far downstream. It was pretty far. I was just trying to fish this slot very thoroughly, but I should have walked downstream to cast to that little section. And I just let it drift from here, so I was way downstream. And when you're downstream, you know, if you set the hook pulling that fish back upstream, you're basically, you know, if you think about it, the fish is gonna be pointed upstream with his mouth like this, and if you're pulling away from it, you're basically pulling that hook out of the mouth. And yeah, you can get him hooked somehow, but your chances are definitely lower pulling him upstream. So I probably should have walked down to fish that little area. That is unfortunate. Dang it. That might be our only chance. Hopefully the steelhead gods forgive me on that one. All right, we're going for the home run here. Tying on a little Cleo. Yeah, make sure those barbs are clipped. Blue and silver. This is a 1/3 ounce. Let's swing this one through the little hole here, and hey, maybe if we're lucky, maybe we'll knock out two birds with one stone. These spoons are a little bit different than float fishing, and like I said, I never caught one on a spoon before, so I'm definitely no expert, but basically, as far as I know, the general principle is we want to cast it out, kind of start bringing in, and then at a 45-degree angle or so, just kind of let that swing through the hole. And then I'll control the depth with the tip of my rod, bring it in up shallow, bring it down low. And when it's, you know, when swinging down, we don't need to reel as much as we generally would in like a lake or something like that, because the current's going to be pulling that spoon, as you can see. Or you probably can't see, but I'm just holding it right here in front of me, and it's working its magic right there, just sitting there. So anyway, that's the idea. Let's see if we can make it happen. There we go. Oh, a bite. Oh, that was a fish for sure. Grabbed it. All right, let's see if we can get him to bite again. I don't know if they're gonna hit it twice, but dang, that was a good bite too. There we go. There's a fish on the lure, on the hardware. Oh yeah, that feels like a good one. My hands are so cold I can barely even grip the reel. Oh, he's coming up, he's coming up. He's coming up. He's coming up here. Oh yeah, it's a nice fish. Really nice steelhead. He's back in there. Oh, he's thrashing. Look at that. Yes. Oh man, that's a big one. That might be the biggest one I've ever caught in this little area. Oh, about to fall. See if I can bring him in this little tide pool type thing. Yes. Oh yeah, that's a nice one. Wow, that is a nice fish. So that's a hen, and I said earlier I was looking for a hen that I could take home, but unfortunately this hen is all spawned out. You can tell it's super skinny. Let me get my other camera to give you a little bit better look at him, but while I do that, I'm gonna keep him in the water here. I know this, I said this, I'm gonna make it a point to say this in almost every steelhead video, but it's super important to keep these fish wet. This is a hatchery fish, so we could technically keep this and bring it home, but I'm gonna be releasing this guy. And you know, steelhead, they're a tough fish, but you know, in these rivers, they're all gassed out. Imagine giving it all your all to get all the way upstream, and then you know, having to fight the fight after I hook this guy. So yeah, they're gassed on energy, so it's super important to keep these fish healthy. That's why I'm keeping this one in the water here. Really good to see fish like this in the system. And this fish will finish, I think she's already done spawning, but what she's going to do is head back towards the ocean and then do the whole process again next year, and hopefully she'll be even a little bit bigger. So good to see fish like this in the system. Like I was saying earlier, there's a lot of like 1 to 3 pound fish. This is probably closer to 4 or 5, so definitely on the upper end of fish for this river in this little area. But yeah, we'll give you one quick look at her. I'd rather have one single hook on there, but I didn't have time to switch it out and hooks were back in the car, so I stuck with the stock trebles. Probably not ideal, but it got the job done. So anyway, we'll get this nice little fish on her way. All right, you can see no adipose fin. This is a hatchery fish. It's starting to get dark here a little bit, so starting to lose the light, but definitely some nice colors on there. All right, we'll get her on her way. Give her a second to get her bearings here. Look at her just holding there right in the current. Oh, there she goes. There she goes. Oh. Yes. Oh man, it was a grind out here. It took me all the way from sunup to sundown to get a nice fish, but sometimes that's how it goes, and when it's a little bit tougher, it can be even that much more rewarding. You know, I set out with 2 goals at the beginning of this video. One was to catch a nice hen that I could harvest with roe for steelhead bait for later in the season. Unfortunately, that didn't happen. I caught a hen, but that was all spawned out. But my second goal, to catch one on hardware, that one happened, and it was looking bleak kind of in the middle of the day. Honestly, I was kind of dropping the goals, but I figured at the end of the day, who knows, let's just try it, see what happens. And it actually worked really well. I got one bite on it that didn't stick. That one hit really hard. I feel like that was a really nice fish. And then obviously the one that you just saw, that one actually stuck, and it was a really nice sized fish, you know, a little bit spawned out, but one of the bigger fish that I've caught on this river. Never caught one on a spoon, spinner, any kind of hardware, and now that's all changed. I caught one, a little bit more confident using it. So that's a wrap. Steelhead fishing, plenty of ways to catch them. We just added one more to our belt. Thank y'all for watching. I'll see you next time.